Hey y'all, it's Shelly Moth. Welcome back to Mask Monday. Today we're going to talk about Mask from American Horror Story. That's it. So, as you know, American Horror Story, every season's kind of a different horror story. Okay, let's fucking do this. You probably know each season of American Horror Story is a different story. Probably the most popular of all these characters is Twisty, so let's go ahead and jump into that one. Okay, so this is Twisty the Clown from the Freak Show season of American Horror Story. I have to admit I haven't seen this season of American Horror Story, but this is a super cool clown design, and I'm assuming that he's wearing the scalp of another clown. He's got this really cool like red, green, and yellow hair, these like poofs on top, but also if you look, you'll notice that he's wearing like someone else's scalp. It's like totally cut right here, and it's like a skin tone scalp on top of his kind of clown makeup face. Speaking of the clown makeup, I really like the speckled kind of pattern that they did. You see the skin tone underneath, so it really looks like he's wearing clown makeup. And then the other big feature about this mask that a lot of people don't realize is you can just unvelcro that, and he's got a really pretty smile underneath. Very creepy, very nasty. I'm assuming he's not a good guy. But anyways, let's move on to another really creepy mask, Mr. Jingles. Okay, so this is Mr. Jingles from American Horror Story 1984. I really like this mask. He's really creepy. It's one of the most realistic looking ones in the store. He's kind of on the mask wall, and like every time we look over, it seems like he's staring at us. I really love his glasses. You don't see like many glasses come on a mask, and I believe they're like they glue them in there. Like they move around, but they're glued right there. And then also, again, I always love when you get facial hair on a mask. So this guy's got like stark eyebrows as well as his mustache and goatee. This was sculpted by Mike McCash, who was a key makeup designer on the show anyways, and the mask was actually developed from the show used master molds. So again, it's as real as you're gonna get basically, and the skin texture and the sculpt is really cool, really good, as well as like the speckle pattern for the paint job that they use to do that. Aside from the goatee and the eyebrows, you also have this like really long, nasty, stringy gray and black hair, and then he's totally bald on top. So yeah, that's Mr. Jingles. Let's take a look at I don't know the names of the other ones. Flip Flop. Flip Flop. So this is the Flip Flop mask. It's from the Cult season of American Horror Story. This one's really cool for obvious reasons. We got like two sides to it. You're basically getting two masks in one here. You have the elephant side for the Republicans and the donkey side to represent the Democrats. My favorite part about this mask is the way that the ears connect. Like you get the elephant ear on one side and the donkey ear on the other side, but just the design of how they come together is just genius. I love that. This one is developed from the screen used master molds. David Leroy Anderson did the original sculpt at AFX Studios, and they did a really awesome job with it. I love like the skin texture in there is really great. Like of course if you're gonna have like an elephant, you're gonna have some pretty hardcore skin texture in there. And I love like the wrinkles in the trunk. I would say my favorite side is the elephant side. I like his big like gigantic like tombstone eyes. Yeah, so that's basically it. Flip Flop, and so we'll move on to another Cult mask. So this is the Bump mask. He's from the Cult season of American Horror Story. It's a really cool mask. I got really excited when we got these in. For obvious reasons, I love like the goggles. The strap is like sculpted in latex, but then over his eyes are these like plastic, I don't know if they're acrylic, but just like plastic goggles. And inside you have like his sculpted latex eyes, but then the goggles on top. It's really cool. I also love the mouth. It's just this really huge, scary mouth, like way too many sharp teeth and a super lumpy, nasty lips, and then it kind of like continues on to his chin. And then he's mostly white, but he's got like a, his red clown nose, which has like really good skin texture and all that. And the skin texture throughout is really cool. But in addition to like the white and red, you have these thin blue, like nasty veins all over his head. And speaking of his head, he has like a really weird kind of peanut shape to it. And as it continues to swing around, you'll see the very back of his head is basically an ass. So that's gonna do it for Mask Monday. Let us know which of these is your favorite. Make sure you visit us at nightmaretoys.com. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next week.